When people do get into debt, it's usually because they're ignoring the reality of their situation. So some people may spend because it's a way of denying what's really going on in their lives. Same thing with gambling or drinking. People try and escape by spending money, making themselves feel better. I would say that when people get into debt, it's usually because they're unhappy. Okay, there's a financial situation, but we all know how much money we're earning or not earning. I know that there's some people that start off not earning anything at all, and all of a sudden having a lot of money and not being able to deal with that. So that happens, or that the reverse happens. You may get made redundant, and I think it really depends on what kind of job you're in as well, how much mobility there is. But I think that's a slightly different way of thinking about your situation. I really do believe, though, that when people get into debt, it's usually an emotional problem. Spending, as you probably know, can be quite addictive as well. And with credit cards as well, it doesn't really feel like it's your money at all, so it's very easy to just go out and spend. Well, I think we live in a society which is about entitlement. I will have that, I can have that, I should have that. And with credit cards, it makes it possible. I mean, I think it's American Express that says, live your dreams, or something like that. So people think, yes, I can. Here's my credit card. I'm going to live my dreams. I'm going to live this idea or ideal, live up to this ideal I have. So people don't tend to recognise when they're living above their means. It's quite common for alcoholics to get into quite a lot of debt, as with cocaine use or any drug use as well, because it's all about denying reality, spending money. I used to work a long time ago in the addictions field, and so many people, they do end up on the streets, or they lose their house because they just don't realise that they're not paying bills. Stress can affect relationships quite significantly. One, communication breaks down, and also the stress of daily life. Who pays bills? Who goes to work? I think money and sex are two very, very difficult subjects for people to talk about. Some people will not talk about money at all. They'll talk about their sex life or their love relationships, but money is quite a taboo subject unless you've got lots of it. If you are feeling in some way impoverished, or your esteem is low, then that will have a direct impact on how you live externally. You can look at it as an exchange of energy as well. So if your self-esteem is low, you're going to go for a job which will only pay you a certain amount of money. I know that I was working with a few people recently that were unemployed. Now, the chap that earned the most money ended up in a job earning what he thought he was worth. The other guys ended up in quite substandard jobs for their qualifications, earning the amount they thought they should be earning. So it's connected to self-esteem and worth as well. But it really is huge, the dynamics of money. The politics within families, the dynamics within families, who decides to spend when. You have the old traditional model of, well, the head of the household is the man. He will decide who goes where, if you get pocket money or if we spend money on this. Money is closely related to power and dynamics in a relationship. So if one partner is earning more than the other, it's quite common that men would feel very, very inferior and earning less money than their female partners if they are with a female partner. Our relationships with money is based on gender, based on family background, cultural differences as well, whether there's an extended family. There are many, many factors. I would say that each individual case is very specific and very different depending on the individual's circumstances, their relationship history, where they are now, also their qualifications, what job they've decided to go into, and their own history with money. If you grew up with lots of money, you're going to have a very different attitude to money. If you've come from quite a poor, impoverished background, you're also going to have quite a different relationship with money. I focus very much on what support systems they have as well. What kind of support do you have at the moment in terms of, are you economically responsible for yourself or for other people? There's insomnia, stress-related illnesses. Obviously, heart attack is the end of the spectrum, but stress can affect people, or even burnout. Let's say that people burn out. They try to get themselves out of a situation that to them seems impossible. The impact that debt has on people's lifestyles in terms of their nutrition is also quite devastating as well, because actually the first thing that often goes is in terms of Chinese medicine, your health comes first, then wealth follows. But if we have that same philosophy, I think we can actually overcome quite a lot of stress-related illnesses as well. Often I see quite a strong correlation between someone's internal world and their external world. So emotionally, what's going on inside is usually replicated in their external. I would say that every single age group is affected by debt in different ways. Developmentally, obviously students are notorious for getting into debt, but the thing is, they know they're going to get out of it at some point. I think it's part of that rite of passage, in a way, of being that poor student. Obviously, getting into debt later on in life is harder. I would say that people who get into debt in their 40s and can't see a way out of it suffer more, because the older we get, the harder it is to change or embrace change. Debt stress rarely will improve unless people are willing to look at change and how that manifests in their lives. If people are ill-equipped to consider the ways in which they have to change their lifestyles, then it's not going to improve for anybody. So the way you wake up is the way that you live your life, which is very true. If you wake up and think, I'm going to make these decisions today, and often debt is to do with decision making, often poor decision making. People often feel that they don't have the ability to make decisions. But the way you actually plan, or your intention, will affect the outcome as well.